Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today we're going to discuss the role of opposition parties and governments. Opposition parties everywhere, any part of the world where the democracy are there, and how the democracy governs by the government and opposition. If you see the official opposition party either from Bharat and other way, so then how they work. So, if you see about this talking about the Bharat, so in terms of the Parliament of India, a state nation designated the political party which has secured the second largest number of seats in either upper or lower houses in order to get the formal recognition in either upper or lower houses. The concerned party must have at least 10% of total strength of house. A single party has to be the 10% seat criterion, not an alliance. Many of the Indian state legislature also follow 10% rule, while the rest of them prefer single largest opposition parties according to rule of their respective house. And this varies country to country, but overall the shape and the size and working are almost same with a shortcut copy paste. The opposition main role is to question the government of the day and hold them accountable to the public. This also helps to fix the mistakes of ruling party. Opposition is equally responsible in upholding the best interest of the people of the concerned country. They have to ensure the government does not take any steps which might have negative effects on the people of the country. The role of opposition in legislature is basically to check the excesses of the ruling or dominant party and not to be totally antagonistic. These are actions of ruling party which may be beneficial to the masses, and opposition is expected to support such a step. In legislation, opposition party has major role, which is a constructive criticism of government, putting restrictions on arbitrariness of the ruling party, safeguarding liberty and right of people, preparation to form government, expression of public opinion. Almost the system is same globally. So just I started this discussion from the panelist, Dr. Rampi Bhatt from the Hamburg, scholar, and Vandana Jingan from senior journalist from Chicago, and a social activist also. So how just to analyze just we'll see the picture of two countries and then later on our other panelists join, so we'll know accordingly from them. So Dr. Bhatt, how just you analyze the role of opposition party either in Bharat and Germany and European affairs?
Thank you, Rakesh ji. Yes, wonderful topic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. So, well, when we compare these two countries, Germany and India,
Mhm.
both are democratic countries, but of course their natures are different by size, number of people, and of course the legislators and so on and so forth. When it is also about the positive discrimination, there are a lot of differences that are, done in India and that are in Germany. So let me put it in other words, what is it like in Germany? First of all, as you said, the role of the opposition party is a very big responsible, post also, because it's just not that they are not in government. That doesn't mean that they don't have any responsibility towards the citizens of the country. They are equally responsible, and they need to work for the betterment of the nation, of the people, and of course, all issues. They have to also cooperate in many ways when it is about the nationhood security, especially when it is about the security of the country. So I have seen it here. Whenever there is an issue about the national security, or even as a whole, the German people, all parties, they become one. They speak in one voice, and they protect their own people, even when it is one person. So this is something which is really, in a real sense, the democratic system that functions. In India, of course, we have seen, and one more thing I want to add here, that I have never seen any kind of brawling, or that somebody, some legislators or some MP is going to the chair in the house, and smashing something on the chair, and abusing and using very bad language, shouting, things like that. This does not happen here very much. I have not seen that here at all. I mean, shouting happens sometimes, but not, I mean, only from within the position, within the seat of the person itself. The person would not leave his or her seat. Unfortunately, what is in India, this is something which is, like, I call it sometimes a kindergarten, that in the opposition, the behavior of the opposition, read the history in India right from the beginning. It is not really in that sense that we can compare that with German parliament. So I think, of course, it has to do with the nature of the Indians itself. The people, they have different way of thinking, and another way, the most important thing is that they don't feel very much responsible, as far as I understand. Especially, I mean, when I saw recently the brawl in Indian Parliament by these 12 MPs in Rajya Sabha, I think that is unacceptable. Nobody can justify that. And what the chair did, that was absolutely correct. But what is happening thereafter, that is not, should not be acceptable to anybody, any sane person, any educated person. So whoever is demanding their, that they should be allowed to go there, that I think this should not be accepted. And because the opposition fails in its duty, then, because the opposition is not there just to create problems, but just to question the government. They are within their rights to question the government, but they also can suggest the government. Yeah, they need to suggest the solutions as well. Apart from that, they are also equally responsible to maintain the harmony and the peace, and within the house, and behave like a role model for the people in the country. And imagine if these people, I mean, I don't want to call the names here, but I know some of them. But I think these people, they do not even deserve, in my opinion, to be a member of parliament. They are not at all, given their history. One person, he comes from Lucknow, and I have read his biography, and I think this person really doesn't deserve to be there at all. But anyway, so, and other thing is that these grand old parties, they need to think about the people and not about themselves. I mean, if they don't think about the people, then they also have no right, in my opinion, to go to the people again. And the problem in India is that the people in India have
Rakesh,
very short memory, very
just
short memory.
let us make it short and just please.
And then, no, I can understand. After this, you are not well and you joined the show. So nice of you. Just Ramji is just delivering the show. I'll take Bandana ji short, then I'll
Yeah,
come
fine.
to you.
Just let me speak first, then you can take others, please. Okay, I will then
Okay,
again.
please.
Number one, I must say Ram Bhattaji was speaking very nicely, but somehow I don't agree with him.
Okay.
Don't agree with him because whatever the opposition has been doing since the beginning, I think because of that, many of the policies were reframed. Had not there been a vibrant opposition during Nehru's time
With
and after
reference of
that,
Bharat or with reference to other? Actually, he was giving the comparative also Germany and Bharat also. That's why.
let me speak. He has right to speak whatever he wants.
No, sir, you have to admit it that I'm an outsider and I have an objective opinion and observance. I
That's the
don't
difference
agree
between
with
whether
that,
you are
what you are
objective or
saying.
not is a
No,
different
no,
issue.
no, no, no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm not going into that kind of a debate.
Wait a minute. I mean, you see,
Please.
you may be subjective.
No, I don't
Observant.
agree. Whatever the opposition has been doing in parliament, I think
No,
they have
no.
done the right thing.
Yes,
No,
but that
please.
means, do you want to send the message? Do
No,
you
in
want
the,
to
in
send the
the way
message?
that I am not here.
No. Do you want to send the message that whatever happened to throw the paper, the file, and whatever on the speaker, is that correct? That is what you are saying. This is what I criticize.
I'm not discussing that at all. Please, you can go ahead and whatever you want. Yes, the issue is a vibrant opposition is always needed. And it is because of the vibrant opposition that through 50s and 60s and even 70s, many of the issues that were there, they were taken up. And it is one thing I must say, opposition has also been responsible. Whether during 65 war or Pakistan war or 62 war, opposition stood by the government. But opposition, quite often now the way the narrative has been taken up is that the opposition is someone who is an enemy and they need to be crushed. That is not a democratic way of doing.
But who is crushing the opposition?
Huh?
Who is crushing the opposition?
You know it. I don't want to discuss that.
No, sir.
No,
if you say like that, if someone is crushing the opposition, who is crushing the opposition?
Let me speak out, then you can ask me questions.
Please.
The issue is the responsibility of the opposition. Have they been responsible? 60s, the 70s, even 80s, we know how the Bihar press bill could not become a part of the statute because of the opposition, vibrant opposition. We know how the opposition could replace the government in 89. That was success or not, that's a different issue. All through 90s, if you see, opposition was part of the power. And they did some of the excellent governance, non-corrupt, and they took all decisions that was pro-people. So, just maligning the opposition is not going to solve the issue. Now, let us come down to now. What is happening? Now, having tasted power, every opposition party is in government somewhere or other. So they feel they are having the benefit of being in government. They are corrupt or not, that is up to them to say. But they feel they must not speak on the issues of the people. That is what the opposition has always been doing, whether it was education or taxes or any other issues. This toll could have become a reality in 70s itself, but for the opposition, vibrant opposition. Now, toll has become a virtual loot.
Now I got your point.
Please, let me speak. No, please let me speak.
I got your point.
No, you haven't got my point. Not only toll. High taxes, high inflation, high petrol prices, and opposition is a part of it. Opposition has not taken a different line other than the government. So that is not what an opposition we expect. Opposition wants to have virtually take the cake and eat it both. So this is not what the opposition role has to be. Opposition is failing the people. Opposition is failing everybody here. Now, we have introduced a national education policy where you want a degree course for 4 years. What are you doing it? You are increasing 1 year of unemployment and at least 2 lakh rupees per student a cost. And opposition is silent. Do you think that is what the role of the opposition is? Opposition feels that they should now come back to power, and whether it is Samajwadi or others, they would again do the same kind of things. That is not the opposition we want. And that is where the opposition has failed the country and failed the people of India. Now, there are so many issues here. Today only I was discussing at IP University with a group of students, the issues. They said they don't want a 4-year course. Why should they have 4 years course when even a 3 years course, they are not taught for virtually for 2 years, or maximum of 2.5 years. Why should they have? And why should their right to become a part of the employment scenario should be denied?
Now
You see, opposition has to be responsible in these aspects, and not that they should come to power and they also enjoy the same things and do the same kind of things. Everybody has a toll company, every opposition party, every ruling party has it, and they want to have the best of it. Not only toll, there are many other issues. Toll, petrol, whatnot.
I got your point.
Why is
You are
the price of edible oil is
Shivaji,
increasing? Because there has been a monopolization, and in many cases, this monopolization is by the instruments of the opposition. So that is where the opposition faces risk.
Shivaji. Let, your points, Vandanaji. What are Shivaji reacted on the role of opposition? Why opposition silent in so many constructive issue and for the country? One, and he says opposition sometimes opposition and government are same. Two, and third, what we are reacting the role of opposition is vibrant and should be vibrant. But I don't think nowadays opposition role of opposition in Bharat is vibrant role for the constructive. Vandanaji.
They're extremely selfish persons. They all want to have
Let the
maximum
Vandanaji speak. Let the Vandanaji speak, please.
Namaskar to all the panelists as well as our viewers. Interesting subject when we talk about, because I will bring from the US perspective. First, I'll talk about the Bharat perspective, what you asked. Opposition is living to the literal meaning is called opposition, the dictionary meaning of it, which should not have been there. The constructive part should be there. Nation should have come first. It should not be about the party, like, the working on the party lines. When we see that something is happening good for the nation, they should be talking about it. When he's talking about the 4 years of the education in the undergrad level, because what is happening, I'm seeing it, they are trying to bring it on the world parallel. Because in the United States of America, we do have an undergrad degree, which is 4 years of it.
The US is not the world, and US parallels can't be the world parallels.
No. Shivaji,
I did not say the US is the world. Let me.
Situations are different. Even for
Shivaji, whatever model
I would definitely appreciate.
Please.
I would definitely appreciate you educating people that they take pride in their own nation. To be honest, let their own language. Why do they have to study then in Hindi itself? Why aren't they studying in Hindi and taking pride when even your prime minister comes to US and speaks in the United Nations in the language Hindi? When I come to India on the ground level, this I am talking about my personal experience. If I talk to people in Hindi, they respond to me in English. This is shame. I'm just telling you with my own friends, with the social circle, which is not. So it is a role. I am not saying anything which is, because if something is happening for the betterment of nation, let this be Samajwadi, BSP, Congress, anyone. And when even BJP was in opposition, this has to be, the nation has to be first. It should be the national nation should get the priority, not the political parties or the ruling party. Today BJP is there, tomorrow they may not be there. But when you are running the metro, that metro will stay there for years. We are just seeing it, how the Delhi has got a reform, how many people got affected. I'm not talking about which party did it or which didn't do it, because role of a governance, it should be, because when we have sent you, means the people, the voters, they have sent you to rule, you should be working for the state, for the municipality, for the nation, then only. And when opposition is playing a constructive role, I'm just saying a constructive role, if something is not there, a healthy opposition is definitely very well needed to pinpoint, because it should not be, otherwise it will be my way or highway. That should not be. Then it becomes a dictatorship. In a good democracy, we need a sound opposition parties, those who come and work for the nation. Thank you.
They work for the nation, whatever it is. Opposition, I think it is a misunderstanding that opposition doesn't work for the nation. That's the misunderstanding.
No, actually, understanding or misunderstanding whatever Shivaji is saying, what is Vandana is saying in the different way, whoever concerned, either opposition in the governments, they should work for the nation. Nation is
for the nation.
Nation is super power.
But I think no political party is working for the nation.
No. Actually, you're Shivaji, you're talking the two ways, and just opposition role should not be neglected. Nobody is neglecting the opposition role, but opposition role should be constructive. Alokji, do we think this is
what is the meaning of constructive? That
if I'm coming to you,
if I'm in government, I do 10 wrong things, and I say it is constructive, that should be constructive. That should not be the opposition must have the right to speak out.
Shivaji,
But they
Shivaji,
must speak out. And problem with
Shivaji,
the opposition is opposition is not speaking out.
Shivaji, I'm just taking the comment after you. Just Alokji coming. Alokji, these are 5 points, and this is all for all constructive criticism of government. The role kya hona chahiye? What is role of opposition? Putting restriction on the arbitrariness of ruling party, safeguarding liberty and right of people, preparation to form the government, and expression of public opinion. How just these 5 points, Alokji, just you define the role of opposition either in Bharat, either in Spain and European affairs. Unmute yourself, please.
Unmuted. Good evening, Kumar, Rakesh, and fellow panelists and our viewers.
Yeah.
And I don't have to redefine what the opposition should be. You've already pointed out that these 5 points, and this is universal. I mean, there is, I don't think if in United States of America or in Germany or in any other country of Europe, being Spain, the definition of opposition does not change. So when the government is there, there's certain people who have to keep a check on the government, so that they don't become high-headed and it doesn't become unilateral decision making. Now that is very important. What happens in this is that we, on the other side, we have the judiciary and we also have the press. Now what has happened in India? The trajectory has been that for almost 65 years, there has been a one-party rule. And power has gone up to their heads. And the people in the opposition, they were trying to be very constructive. By the time INC, International Congress, or IDRA Congress, or whichever Congress was there, any opposition which was there, they had been mostly in opposition only. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to play the role of a very constructive opposition. So the dialogue was there, everything was there, because the concept of majority was very different. Now, over the years, what has happened is, or even if we notice in Modi 1.0, the government was behaving as if they were the opposition, and the opposition was behaving as if it was still governing. Now, that was very, very interesting. And even the bureaucrats, for that matter, were behaving in such a way that they were not even listening to the government and the Prime Minister. And the PM categorically told them, I'm talking about the IS lobby and everybody else, they said, you wasted my 5 years, you're not going to waste another 5 years. And that is when they were talking about, a vertical positioning, that any consultant could be bought in from outside, which the government also failed, and they bunked into the pressure by the IS lobbies. Now, what has happened is that we don't have an opposition. For that matter, even technically, we don't have a leader of the opposition, and that pains the opposition very much. And another thing is that there is nothing like a de facto opposition. For example, Congress thinks that if it is not in power, it is the de facto opposition. Whereas numbers speak something else. The regional parties, they could be having more numbers. But yes, Congress does have a pan-India penetration, which I think even the ruling party BJP does not have. Now, having said that, I have to say that the role of the government, what is happening right now is, since the opposition is not playing a constructive role, the only thing they are doing is, and they don't care about India or the policies or the people of India, they just want to ridicule this government so that they can get back into power, be it at any cost. And consequently, what is happening is the government, when it is seeing that there is no role of the opposition, so they are also going slightly in a high-headed way. So that dialogue,
just a time of break. Sorry, after that we'll continue.
No, fair enough. I've said my point.
Welcome after break. Just Alok is saying the role of the opposition should be constructive, and whatever, just a matter of concern now, the opposition role is not even the either way. So just they're still behaving. Shivaji also said is still behaving. They are just like in the government, not the opposition. If you say like that, and if you analyze the political parties who are the opposition to select and train candidates for the parliamentary position to formulate alternative government policies and programs, gather and implement demands from a society to supervise and check the government in place. Ram Bhatji, do you think it is just happening in a country, either in Germany, just you may indicate us, or either in Bharat? How just you to comparatively study? Unmute yourself.
Well, yeah, thank you. Well, as far as I am concerned about Germany, well, of course, as I said earlier, in Germany, of course, there is a system that functions pretty well, and people are very responsible. I must admit this. Whatever level they are working at, whether it is in any position,
Yeah.
whatever happens, that happens with the responsibility. And the opposition, as I said earlier, is questioning the government quite often, but at the same time, they also do provide some kind of solutions for problems. Apart from that, whenever it is a question about the betterment of the society at large or outside issues, the opposition is completely agreeing with the government back to back. That means the opposition is part and parcel of the government in that sense. That is what is happening in Germany. When I look at the Indian parliament or Indian governments, there are, of course, as I said, first of all, the comparison is not actually that good because India is a huge country. You have such a huge parliament, people coming from various ethnics, linguistic area, and so on and so forth. So it makes a bit difficult to compare, things like in that way. But nevertheless, India is a mature enough democracy where we could expect both the government and the opposition working in hand in hand or with each other, within the rule that is laid down in Indian Constitution. That unfortunately, when I read the newspaper, whenever we see the or watch the videos or whatever is happening there, that doesn't look like that. Because as my other colleagues or other panelists said, there is no opposition, first of all, in a real sense. And apart from that, they want to, just to demoralize. I don't know whether it is the BJP, but I understand more. It is just the prime minister who's the target, first of all. And the target is target because he's causing some kind of great changes in that country, changing the mindset of the people. The basic things you see that, this self-attesting. I mean, if any sane person look at in that issue, it brought a huge change. And now I heard from my co-panelist earlier, increasing the air for degree. I think that is. I mean, you cannot lament on such thing. I am an educationist. I teach here, and I can tell you, you cannot come to my university because you have to study 4 years BA program. We have honors program. Without that, we do not consider you to be educated enough or to be able to have complete your studies. The medicine program is here from 6 to 8 years long. So don't compromise on quality. You are playing with the life of the people. Do you want always this this wishy-washy system? Look at the quality of the teachers there. Look at the quality of the many doctors there. You have Jola Chap doctors. I think this makes me angry because this is not acceptable. And you talk about taxes. increasing the taxes,
No,
then
no, that is illegal, Ramji. Whatever Jhola Chhap doctor, that is illegal, and that is illegal activities can't be allowed in
sir,
any
yeah,
form of
yeah, yeah.
government.
But sir, it is happening because we don't have enough doctors. That is what I mean.
No, no,
I'm not saying.
that was a different thing.
Okay.
Actually, good and bad and everywhere. Jhola Chhap was sometimes in the
No, no,
countryside.
I'm not real doctors. I'm not talking about real doctors. I
Yeah.
respect real doctors. They are very good people. They are very good doctors. Indian doctors are considered also here very good. But I'm talking about because we don't have enough doctors, good doctors, who go to the village.
Sometimes it was found in the villages area, countryside areas,
This is exactly what
and
I mean.
government giving the RMP degrees, registered medical
Well,
practitioner.
it is, if it is happening, that is good. But my memory says this, and that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
I don't have any intention to really to
No, no,
have,
no, not intention. It's a
yeah.
fact. I'm talking about
Okay.
fact.
The second point that Mr. Sarkar raised is the taxes and increased prices. So if you look at the relation, look what a person was earning for before 10 years or 20 years back, and look what they are earning now.
It's the
People
same.
are earning
That's
much
not
more
improved.
than today than earlier.
If you go by the value of the rupee, it has not
In
increased
India
at
have
all.
not gone up that much. And in comparison, if you look at the index of the world, India is doing much better, because you have a kind of course, you have cheap labor there, but still the price. I mean, daily wages, charges. I just got
Hike,
something done.
increased more times, three,
Sir,
four times.
1100 per day, 1100.
Yeah, yeah,
In Uttarakhand, you cannot have a wage laborer for one day less than 1100. Earlier, for 10 or 15 years, it was maybe 150, 200, 300
yeah,
bucks.
yeah.
So compare that in relation as well. Apart from that, then the role of the opposition also in that sense, I do agree with Mr. Sarkar that they have to raise the question, they have to hammer the government in some issues. This is very true.
But they're
But
not hammering.
but at the same time, just hammering will not do anything. They need to provide some solution, sir. Unless you provide some solution, you speak for the people of the country, it won't bring anything. And that is what is
Okay.
happening in
So
India.
nice point, Ramji.
Thank you.
You raised, Vandana ji. Opposition role should be given the constructive and just also suggestive for the government, for the people. Do you think so? Either in USA, either in India, Bharat.
In the
Comparatively, just I want.
Namaskar again. Yes, definitely. I did mention earlier too, because in the democracy, opposition's role is very, very important and vital. They have to work on a constructive measure and to educate people. Like, every time we see, you will not believe, Kumar Rakeshji, nobody talks. We've never seen any kind of protest here. I used to pay a gas price of $1.70. I am paying a gallon. I am paying right now $4. We don't see any protest happening on the streets and stuff like that. But when it happens, you cannot have cake and eat it too. If there, you need the world class facilities, you need to have so you have to pay the prices too. And we do see the tax, whatever tax do we pay. How many people percentage in India and Bharat people pay the tax? Means so that tax,
100%,
whatever
madam.
we pay, we
Madam,
see the
India,
use of it.
100% people
Yes.
pay taxes.
So
Even the
that
beggar pays
Coming to you,
40% of the
Sivaji,
taxes.
very interesting fact. Sivaji, coming to you. This is very interesting fact. Vandana ji just raised how the percent is. Very interesting. Vandana ji, carry on. After that, I'll take the Sivaji.
So
comment.
when
Yeah.
if he is talking about the sale tax and this tax and that tax, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about income tax. You've just seen, so don't talk to me about, I know what I am saying from the perspective of it. And then where from the government, who is building, who are the people? It is the people. The government is the people, paid by the people, for the people, to be honest. And that has to be spent. It should not be coming back in my own pocket. When we are sending people as an elected officials, that you are working for the people. This is not a profession. And it should not be a career. Politics should not be a career too. So when we think in that very terms, so somebody did mention, Rampatji did say, education. Every day we see you're burning buses there and you're doing that. Oh, gas price बढ़ गया, 2 cent बढ़ गया, 3 cent बढ़ गया. It is an international market. You don't guys see that? You want to be having the best roads. You want to have the same express highways. You want to have it, but you don't want to pay for it. Who's going to pay? Where from the money going to come? So that is a constructive role of an opposition as well as a good governance, that they have to talk about it. Who talks about it? No, I have never seen people being educated.
Yeah.
Those who are salaried people, they are paying taxes because there's, but every businessman to chori karta hi hai. India mein, don't say that. Means like, whatever way they are being able to do that. So coming back to, I am asserting again and again, opposition's role is very, very important. The way these people gang upon that we don't want, their mission is, we don't want Modi to come. That's why we are ganging upon. Is this a bloody mission? Is this like I'm sorry to use these words, because last time also this happened. They make somebody a face, and it was Chandrababu Naidu, and now they are thinking their heroine, from Calcutta, she will come, she will be the face. Deliver something, show something, and then become consensus. You are all anyway regional parties. Why you became so fragmented? If your mindset is same, you should have been one party. And I think at this point of time, I always support Bharat to have only two-party politics. No nonsense. Thank you.
Okay. So just I think Shivaji was there, some technical problem. He is not here. Alok ji, just you. I think you must have data. What is the percentage of the taxpayer in India and Bharat? And just Shivaji came. Shivaji, just
Yes,
the network was gone that time. So just you're talking about the tax percentage, and I was taking your answer from Alok ji. Just now you came. Do you listen me, Shivaji?
yeah, I can listen to you.
So just now you can just throw on light what is the percentage of the taxpayer really in Bharat,
You see,
and
in India,
how the tax structure maintained just to government and for the public.
if you take the
Please.
tax statistics, I think the way it is presented, either by the government or the
some network
opposition,
problem.
is always. Can you hear me?
Shivaji, do you listen me? Hear
Yes,
me?
I can. Yes.
Gone.
Hello. Am I audible?
Network issue.
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can hear. We can hear you.
You see, the statistics both by the opposition and the government for their own vested interest is being presented wrongly. Here, even the unborn child, he also pays at least a minimum of 40% of taxes. And when Vandanaji was saying that we are on only income tax, no, income tax is not the issue. Why should there be at all be an income tax?
But this is also the fact.
No. Why should there
The
be a tax?
taxpayer, the number of the income taxpayer in India is ridiculous.
Now,
Only
worldwide,
not more than 10% people
Please, let me speak out.
in India is paying tax. Why and what for?
No. Now, the worldwide, there is an aversion for income tax because already there is a municipal tax, there is sales tax, there are plethora of taxes, tolls, fees, and so many other things. Even the police rent seeking and others. So they are all taxes of different kinds. So if you take it, 40 to 45%, even the unborn child pays, a bigger piece. Now, how much tax you want to have from one's income? In India, the taxpayer actually pays 70 to 73% of a minimum of his income as taxes. How much do you want to pay? It is not an income tax, it is an impoverishing tax. And the opposition doesn't speak about it, that is fine. And the ruling parties, they feel, "Arey aane do paisa kya zarurat hai?" And all the ruling parties are like that, unfortunately. So the issue is, why should you have toll? You are taking already road tax. You are taking plethora of other taxes, and again you are having toll because a few companies, a few big people have to thrive. Few big corporate have to thrive. So you want toll. Any hospital, you want heavy prices. Why? And they give the worst services. Most private, I can name the best of it. They give the worst services. They are exploiting people, they're extorting people, and there is no check on them. That is where the opposition role is, and opposition is not speaking out there because opposition also is benefiting from this kind of a system. Indian opposition is corrupt in that way. You see, the ruling party, well, they can ignore things, but the opposition can't. But it is the constructive role. That is the constructive role. Opposing something that is going against the people, that is being, when people are being extorted, when people are being forced to stay more in universities and colleges, that is against the interest of the people and the youth. We must reduce the terms of all courses. What are you teaching in universities? Any university world over, US has the maximum number of degree meals. They just give the degrees. They don't teach. World's highest number of degree meals are in US. And we want to ape that system. So that is where the opposition is not speaking. Opposition has to speak on these issues. You see, government is sometimes carried on by people what they are inside because they can reach the years and they can make the work. That is where the check by the opposition is required. That is where the constructive part of the opposition is. And I'm sorry, in this country, that part is missing. Whether it is Jagan Mohan Reddy, Chandrababu Naidu, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, anywhere, go anywhere, anywhere in this country, any part of it, that's the problem. In the name of privatization, we have created the most extortive system and the worst qualities. Yes, even in the best private university, the quality is the worst. That is why Indian youth wants to go to a government university. There may not be that good, but whatever it is, the sincerity of the teachers and whatever they have, they get the best there. It is not for any other reason. It is not because of the quality, cost only. Cost is one part, but the quality is also there. Okay, I have seen one of the best and worst universities.
Okay,
private and government. My impression has been the private universities in India, as in the US degree meals are, they're never sincere. They just want that the maximum fees should be extorted, but they should give the minimum. So this is where the opposition has to speak out. If they don't speak out, they have no business to be in politics.
So maximum fees and quality minimum and the maximum tax relief is minimum. Alokji, how just you define in the context of India and the Spain and the European countries the tax
every day you're devising new systems for extorting tax.
And I think the Shivaji also, Vandanaji, Ramji, the role of opposition, whatever should be constructive is really not constructive. Whatever they, if you take the UK system, the British, the Constitution of the India adopted most of the maximum from the British form of government. After that, the oldest form, then the US and other form. Whatever the base from the different countries we have taken. But that is only in the book. In practically, they are not properly implemented and implementing. That is a matter of concern also. So how do you just analyze the role? Whatever Shivaji also not happy, I am also not happy. Whatever role opposition should be, they have only total. I can't say, and you can't say this is a totally politically, even not politically motivated. Also, this is a person motivated. The Alok is not good. Alok should be not in chair. Vandana is not good. Vandana is Ramjin. But government and governance should be discussed. So how do you analyze the government and governance and role of opposition, whatever in India and either just you think and feel in Spain and other European countries?
Just a one-liner. Even the US people in the US wants that they should have a medical system that is of the like of the UK, not the US.
Yeah, please, Alokji.
Okay, there are various points which have been taken up.
Yeah.
One being the oil prices. Oil prices have not increased only in India because the taxes imposed are very high, which definitely they are. We were buying, before the OPEC countries decided to hike up the price, and it has happened worldwide. It is not only in India. We were paying 96 cents for 1 liter of gas. Now it is €1.46. I'm talking about the grand realities in Spain and in Europe because now it is an open market. And I don't know why in India it is not under GST. It should be brought under GST. Now, why these taxes are there? You asked me for figures. In a country, about 132 crores, only 82.7 million they pay taxes, which comes down to 6.25.
That is income tax only, Alokji.
I'm talking about income tax only. Okay, in case we want to get into the tax structuring, let's talk about that also. For the benefit of our viewers, there are two types of taxes, the direct taxes and the indirect taxes. So when we are talking about the direct taxes, we are talking about things like GST, VAT, or even if you talk about toll costs, anything which you're buying, then you're paying a tax which goes to the government's exchequer. Until now, it was not there. And so we are talking about the sales tax, or, United States, depending on which state it is there is a sales tax, or it is not there, or something like this is happening. Now, one thing which is very clear in any European country is that anybody who is into an economic, path, which means he's earning money through some method, he is registered in the tax office and he has to pay a tax. And this happens every 3 months. Now, this is how it is working. In India, we don't even have, a head count of how many people are there who are economically contributing to the country. So in a country like this, we cannot even talk about, so many people are paying taxes and so many people are not paying taxes. Now, that is one thing. And when we talk about the indirect taxes, which means income tax, any person in Europe who is earning more than 60,000 euros a month has to pay around 45% in taxes. And it is not that the type of roads which we have in Europe, it is not that they come free of cost. You have to pay toll, even apart from the fact that any vehicle which is, plying on the roads, after 5 years, it needs a 1-year check, a fitness check, even for private vehicles, which is not happening in India. That's the reason the pollution is there. And not only this, on top of it, you have to pay toll tax. In India, we don't have any road tax. You have to pay road tax also.
We have a road tax.
Yes, symbolic tax is there. Once upon a time, we also were paying for All India Radio and television, Doordarshan. But what kind of trash were they serving? That is the question. So here you are charged even today, the road taxes. Let's come to education now. So in case 1 year is increased, it is not. The main problem is India is exporting a lot of engineers. It is exporting, the only place where we are excelling is in informatics, which is computer sciences. And this is happening because nobody is asking you for a degree. If you have a degree or you don't have a degree, it doesn't make any difference. Ask a doctor who comes from India and he wants to work in Germany or in Spain. He's not given the homologation. I've talked to the embassy people and talked to them. Have you ever mentioned that homologation should be given to our kids? You know how many children of ours are going abroad for education? When they come back to give, let's say, a person, he's done BDS and he comes to Spain and he's, doing his MDS here. For the course, his BDS is, valid, which means, okay, you've done BDS in India, you can do MDS here. But when you go back, you want to work here, then they say, no, your BDS is not valid. Why? Why is it happening? Because the standard of education has to match the international standards. And forget one thing, you're forgetting all the time one thing, that you are brown skinned. So in case you have to excel in any part of foreign countries, in the United States of America, in Germany, in France, you have to be absolutely top notch so that they give you a job or you become the head of a center here. It doesn't just happen because we're talking about education. More than 50% of the Indian education work on reservation. What about that? What about that? The reservation people, are they going to get that kind of quality? They are not going to get that kind of quality. So why don't you talk about, instead of protesting that 4 years course should not be there or 5 years course should not be there, we should say that university education or high school education should be compulsory and free for everybody. And after that, it should be only competition. But nobody's got the guts. neither the education is,
Alokji,
nor
Alokji.
the opposition people, or even the government.
We are confusing the issues, please.
No, I'm
No,
not confusing the issues
no,
at
no,
all.
they
We have
actually,
gotten certain
Shivaji,
issues when we
I
are
think
talking about
how Shivaji raised
the
the issue.
opposition and the role of opposition. In the role of opposition, why they are not protesting against certain things is they are just trying to rob the public money. So whatever collection they have, be it form of direct taxes or indirect taxes, at the end of the day, because of the corrupt political system, or the people who are getting into politics, they only thing they want is get more money, more public money, which they can use for their private benefits. This is the ground reality of India.
Okay,
Just
whatever ground reality, I'm not, Shivaji, just time is running out. We have only 1 minute. I am
one
just
small,
asking,
one small, just very small one-liner.
sir, we have only 1 minute, please.
Just one-liner.
Please.
Alokji said that they would admit a BDS student for a higher studies because then they are paying it. But when it comes to job, they will be discriminated. So why should we follow the UK, Europe, or Western discrimination and try to force that upon us? We should develop our own system.
Sir,
Why
that
can't
is different issue. That is different.
we should have ideally we should have a two-year.
It cannot be that you make up your own system which is not validated by United States of America or Europe.
We should
Those
care
people are
about
not
that.
coming to
We should
India to
care
do
about
that.
that. That is where all
which is getting billions of dollars into India.
we should
We
care
have
about
diverting the
that.
issue, sir.
Comply with them. They are not going to comply with you.
We should
we
not
have
go by the
diverting the
UK
issue.
standard. We should
No,
develop
it
our own
is very nice.
system.
It sounds very nice that we should be doing our own system and they should follow us.
Sir,
We should
we are
not
diverting the issue. Going to
Absolutely not. We're not supposed to follow them. We are
political
following the
discussion.
degree mill
We
system.
have been following them. Your
Shivaji.
constitution is a copy of their constitution.
Shivaji,
The constitution is different. How we frame the constitution, but how we work it out is different.
Okay.
Shivaji, we are diverting the issue. You only ask for
I'm
the
not
one
diverting
line.
the issue. I'm not diverting the issue. That is where the opposition is failing. That is where the opposition is failing. They are just falling into the trap.
Sir, my request is, what is role of opposition? I request, I have all crossed the 3 minute limits. So with all discussion, I think we are not focusing the discussion. We should. Vandanaji, do we think the role of opposition is up to mark either in USA and Bharat? Just one liner. Are you happy with the role of opposition or not? And the same question to all, Alokji and Shivaji and Ramji. Just a quick question, quick answer, please.
Bharat, no, to be honest. In the United States, somewhat yes, not completely yes too, because things are changing over a period of time.
Ramji, just how just is Germany and Bharat?
Well, as Rakesh, I told you earlier that you cannot compare these two different nations and their the role of opposition in India.
Are you happy or not?
No. It is pathetic in my sense. And one more thing I would like to stress here or underline one more thing. The tax, when you talk about tax, you will be amazed to know.
No, sir, I'm not going to tax. Sorry.
No. Just one thing. People need to know. People need to know that in Germany, you even pay tax for the television and dog. If you keep a dog, you need to pay tax. Your television tax you pay. It is extra. It is not counted in that whole tax. So people need to think about it.
My question is, are you happy the role of opposition in Germany?
Sir, I'm not happy. As I said, I don't.
Not happy. Yes, I did.
I'm not. It is not whether I'm happy or not. I see it objectively, and I think the role of the opposition in India is unfortunately not being fulfilled according to the Constitution of India itself.
Thank you. Alokji.
In my opinion, the role of the opposition
are you happy or not?
Is pathetic. And if we're talking about Spain, the country where I'm residing, the party which was in power, they have accepted the people's mandate. They're now sitting in the opposition and they're doing the role which is allotted to them. So it is the people of a country who decide. It is not that because people have rejected you, you start, throwing a tantrum. This is what is happening in India. That's the difference between the two countries.
Shivaji, just one liner.
Yes.
Shivaji.
One liner is.
I think you are not happy.
No, I'm not absolutely not happy with the opposition role. Because
So
I
nice
have
of you.
I have gone through the system and I have seen what kind of vibrant opposition it was,
Oh,
it
so
was earlier
nice.
in
So
India.
so nice, sir.
Now
So
it
nice.
is a participative opposition. When it
Okay,
suits the
sir.
opposition, they will take the